This video is about neuroplasticity. What is it, and why is it essential to your recovery after stroke? We will hear from 2 stroke survivors about how they have used the principles of neuroplasticity to guide their recovery after stroke. Neuroplasticity is changing the brain. It is the forming of new pathways and connections within the brain so that it can better send messages to the muscles in your arms and your legs so that you can move effectively. Neuroplasticity needs repetitions of practice, and the research tells us that it takes hundreds and hundreds of repetitions of doing the same thing in order to form those pathways within the brain. It is also important to be engaged in the practice that you are doing. Think about a musician or a sports person trying to get better at a part of their performance. They will practice the same thing over and over again, many hundreds of times, in order to get better at doing it. And it's the same principles after stroke. In order to get neuroplasticity, you need to practice the same things over and over again, hundreds and hundreds of times, and to be engaged and concentrate on that practice in order to get neuroplasticity within your brain so that you can move better again.
I was in that fog, that neurological fog that stroke survivors are in for some period of time after a stroke. And then as it started to clear, we had a conversation, this chap and myself, and he said, "Brian, 20 reps a day ain't going to cut it." He said, "Welcome to the concept of big numbers, i.e. multiple repetitions." So it was at that point in time that I realised that I was in there for quite some time. It was unlike a dislocated shoulder or a torn hamstring. That stroke rehab is quite a prolonged and perpetual routine. So we no longer did I do my 20 a day. We sat down and worked out a plan, a rehab plan. We gave it a reasonable and a measurable objective, and that objective was to build strength in my right side and to get me walking again and help me with my right arm. So for 16 weeks I was in that gym for 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, and as I said, the only reason I was there for five days a week was I couldn't find the bloody key on Saturday and Sunday. I became addicted to it. It was because I was improving and getting stronger. I could see that the benefit of multiple repetitions. And at the end of 16 weeks, we used to sort of tabulate the results every day. At the end of 16 weeks, I had done something in the order of 26,000 sit-to-stands and over 136,000 repetitions on the tilt machine from 10 degrees to 50 degrees to build up strength. So it was, when you talk about multiple repetitions, they are part and parcel of a stroke routine. And my message to any stroke survivor who happens to be seeing this message is get used to it, because it's multiple repetitions are going to be part of your, not only your rehab, but as I talk later, it'll be part of your life.
The single most important factor in my recovery has been the amount of repetitions I needed to do. So there's a difference between learning from the physio or OT in that setting, but the key difference was increasing the amount of repetitions. So that means it means giving me a lot of practice and also consistency. The amount of repetitions really was the dividing factor. I became more in tune with my body. Things became easier and things just started moving better. But with neuroplasticity, I realized that it's not like in time, like a broken bone, it will heal. I really needed to engage with my brain. So when it came to exercising, it really was being mindful to actually be present and do the exercise itself.
Repetition and consistency is key with all of your exercises. Your therapist might set you clear targets for each exercise or thing to practice. If you're having trouble meeting these targets, feel free to negotiate these with your therapist. Let them know how you're feeling, what's going on for you, and how to prioritize your exercises. Because getting a certain amount of practice, the maximal amount of practice, is crucial.
Those bad days and you're feeling a bit rough and tired, by keeping accountability, by telling people, other people, whether it's your family or friends, to check up on you and how your progress is going, that helps me also keep motivated.